What's going on, my good peoples? It's your main man Solace. I wanna basically break down to everyone what happens after death and that process and how you ascend through the lives. Now, everyone that been following me, you already know. I explain. I'm basically explaining for those who haven't. I'm the one that explained death when I first came in. I explain how the sperm is the spirit, how pretty much everything a man says should be physical, where he can physically show you how books and religion is all BS. It's just a man's way of controlling another man to think how he wants him to think. I pretty much broke down all the things that most people haven't been explaining, or the holes have been in it. So I do that. That's what I do. So now I'm gonna break down what happens after death, and I'm gonna basically explain it to where you can grasp it, where you don't need to you're not gonna find this in the book. Basically, true knowledge you're not gonna find in the book. It's universal knowledge, meaning it's written all throughout the universe. You just have to learn how to see and observe. We know how to read words. That's all we understand is seeing and listening to what men say, as opposed to using the eyes what they're for, and how the eyes connect to the brain and connect to the divineness that we are. And this is the true information. So, what happens when we die? What you have is a veil of darkness. So, when you die, you have to understand life is eternal. You started in this life as a cell in your father's body. Everyone started this physical third dimensional life that you see 3D in. You started this as a cell in your father's body. Then you died. That cell that you was, that micro life, died. The spirit in the cell connected back with the conscious spirit that your father had. Then it's pushed out into the semen, and it takes on its second life once it penetrates the egg, and it starts to develop in the egg. That's the second life, that's the second dimension. Then it's pushed out of the woman, which is the second dimension, into the third dimension, where it becomes the woman. Now, during these periods, when the cell died and it returned to the conscious, that was the veil of darkness. So you die, your spirit returns to the spirit or world or being that it is in. World, being, all the same. So the consciousness returns back to the consciousness that it is in. And then it is pushed out into the semen, where it will begin its new life. So this is how you got to the third dimension, which is your third life. Even if you don't remember it, this is your third life. You know that because you know you was a sperm cell that penetrated an egg. You know you was a cell in your father's body. You know all of these lives are connected. I just explained that. So you don't have to confuse yourself and say, I wasn't alive 3 times. Yes, you was. And this is what dimensions and things of this nature truly is. So, that I said that to show you that life is eternal. And in between the lives in your ascents and your changing bodies, because you went from a micro cell to a zygote, to an embryo, well, to a fetus, to an embryo, to a baby, child, adult. So as you changing your life forms and ascending through the lives and then going through the veil of darkness, which we call death, and then you ascend out of that into your next life and life form as a baby of that world and life, and you ascend up and you acquire knowledge. And this is how you ascend back to what we would call the mighty all. I call the mighty all the primordial soup, but everyone seems to like the word God. So this is truly the ascent and the process of an eternal life that we all have. If you have a spirit, which is the sperm cell, you have eternal life. Even in seeds, their life is eternal. The seed, it has the sperm cell in it. When you put the seed in the ground, the life comes forth. So basically, when you put the seed in the womb of the earth, the life comes forth. Man eats the life, kills the life, chops it down, whatever. The seed is still within whatever they do. So if you eat an apple, the seed is still within the apple. You can replant that and it'll grow again. Meaning the life of the apple is eternal. It can keep recycling itself. And this is how we truly are, but it's more on an ascending level in an eternal thing. So our process is longer. You ascend all the way up. Now, the purpose of the veil of darkness is to basically give you rest or a break from the eternal life that you truly have, that I just broke down from cells to this point. So now, when you die, that veil of darkness, that is your relief from an eternal life. Meaning, if you live for eternity, you would probably go crazy if you never got a pause. Just like if a man lives 100 years on this earth, give or take. If a man never got sleep in between the 100 years, he would lose his mind. So, death is likened to sleep in a sense where sleep gives you relief from the 100 years that a man lives. So, every night you get relief. In every day you get relief from your 100-year life as a man. And in your eternal life, after every life you've ascended, you get that rest, which is sleep, which is the veil of darkness. It's just on a larger scale in a larger life. So we just have to understand that. So when a man dies now, what will happen is he will go through the veil of darkness. So when you die, you will go through the veil of darkness. And the same thing that happened when you was a cell in your father, that same thing will happen. Meaning, you will die. You will go through your veil of darkness. That is your relief from this entire experience on the third dimension you've experienced. Basically, collecting of the data. You go through your veil of darkness, which is your rest. Then, just like the cell returned to the consciousness of your father, just like when you was a cell and you died and you returned to the consciousness of your father, when a man dies, his spirit or the sperm cell that started from the beginning that is now big, let's just say the spirit, because the sperm loses y'all. Y'all don't like that word for some reason. So when a man dies, his spirit, which is now a big conscious charge, way bigger than it was in the beginning, this leaves the body, returns to the sun. The sun is the brain or the spirit or the conscious thought and energy of the being that we live in. See, the earth and the other planets and things of this nature that are in the solar system are the organs of that being. And the sun is the consciousness, the brain of that being. We see it the way we see it because we are inside the being. Just like when you was a cell, you was inside of your father. So the baby doesn't know what the mother looks like. So it's the same process. So when you die as a man, your spirit will return to the sun, which is the spirit of the being that we call the solar system. We just can't see how this being fully looks from an outer perspective because we're within it. But you have to know that when you see the sun, you're looking at the brain or the spirit and the consciousness of that being from the innards. So your spirit will return to that, just like all men, depending on circumstances. But we're going to keep it simple. Your spirit returns to that. The sun will push your spirit out the same way the man pushed you out in semen. You will come out in some sort of nebula, which is the same thing as semen, but on a star's level of life in its dimension and world that we can't perceive or see right because it's too big. So that's all dimensions is the size of things and how your eyes can perceive it. So basically, you will return to the sun. The sun will spit you out in the nebula. Same way it happened before. Sperm cell, you will be a sperm cell. You will find you an egg in whatever solar system you are spit out into. So whatever galaxy you are spit out into, because the galaxy is the world for the solar systems. This is their world. So whatever galaxy you are spit out into as nebula, you will find your egg and develop your new star body the same way you did the egg with the man's body, and you will develop that and you will live your life as a star and ascend and acquire knowledge and go from a baby star all the way to the ends and death of a star. And then you will either ascend on to a new life, which is a supernova, or the stage after a supernova, or you will return to the black hole, which is like returning back to the primordial soup from the very beginning, making you one with the consciousness of God. So basically, this is the ascent. You basically will die and return to the consciousness and be spit out as sperm, or however you want to. Your spirit will be pushed out the same way it was in the beginning. And this is the ascent, and this is the explanation of how death and life truly works. I'm trying to find the words to make y'all completely grasp, because I can see all of this. It's almost like I'm there. I'm trying to explain it using words where y'all don't get confused, because y'all see soul and spirit as different. Same things. A lot of words y'all use as difference are the same things. And men have done this over time to confuse people when they get caught in a jam. Meaning when a man is preaching a word and it becomes seen to be wrong and someone corners that man, this is when things become separated. Because it brings confusion. So a man will say, no, well, soul is different. When I said that, it was different than when, boom, boom, boom. And then this is how people become lost. Because those who follow a man will usually follow a man into anything, no matter how absurd it is, because they deemed him as so smart in the beginning. And we have to truly just detach ourselves from that. My whole thing is to just get people to understand there's a balance in life. You should not look at anything as good or bad, because it's all a part of the life. And we just have to get out of a judgmental perspective. Only thing that should be judged is those who judge in circumstances that are judgmental like and oppressed like. Because judging is what leads to oppression. You judge a person, you look down on the way and manner of things they do. Next thing you know, you feel superior to them. And this leads on and on and on. So we got to start to cut off the things that are leading to oppression, because at the end of the day, we're the ones at the bottom of the oppression. So we shouldn't want oppression to even exist anymore, knowing that we or any other race could fall to the same position that we're at. And even if we rise up above this oppression, if it's still out here, we can always fall back into it. So the main thing is to get it out of here, get all of this racist, silly thought process stuff out of here. Stop going from religion to the conscious communities we are individuals living this life. We need to live this life as individuals in our own uniqueness, and everyone needs to basically just accept and receive everyone's individuality, because individuality is how you got greatness in life. The positive forces was different than the negative forces, but the merging is how you got the beauty and all of this different kinds of life that we have from opposites mingling. If the positive forces think the negative forces bad, you wouldn't be, and nothing else would. So we need to keep this in mind in our day to day. We need to stop reaching for books and 10 commandments and reach for the understandings of life, because if you understand life, then you can understand how different things are good. We look at different things as a bad thing. White man is bad to a black man. Black man is bad to a white man. We have to stop looking in this manner. The merging of things is how you get greatness. So we need to fully understand that. Whether you want to merge or don't, we have to stop looking at things in a bad nature, because this is stopping the ascent. We have to start to humble ourselves to receive understanding. For me to receive the understanding I have, I had to humble myself to acknowledge a cell's life. See, we don't do that. You don't look at yourself from before you was here, knowing you was in your father because you came out of him. So you know this, yet you don't add that on to your life. And this is how we become lost, and this is how a lot of men become lost. Most men of these times. Because we're starting our journey from this existence, forgetting about the prior existence. A lot of men will say they want to mind travel to the fourth dimension or the fifth dimension. But you can't even go back to your beginnings. So how are you doing this? Mind you, you can't jump ahead, but you can always look back. And within looking back, you can understand the future. Life is a repeating process, no matter what level of ascent you are on. So I acquire the knowledge I know because I completely understand this existence that I live in, from not letting myself be brainwashed by books and men. Now, I've read many books. This is how I come to this conclusion. But this is how I gain understanding in this dimension that I'm in this life. From observing, understanding my true way to grasp knowledge is through the eyes and the brain, because this leads to the spirit. The spirit is a part of the all knows all. So I understand how to tap into my all knowing knowledge. And I'm just trying to find the words to help others to do the same. But the first thing is to break yourself off from your teacher in the books. I'm just trying to guide people. So when I tell you to come follow me, it's only for a brief moment so that I can guide you to do and think for yourself and grasp knowledge for yourself. Because no man should be told what life is when he lives it. But a lot has been stripped from us, so we kind of gone. So we just got to get back into perspective. That's what I'm here for. Everything is truly simple. When men explain things complex and you don't understand it or you can't see it, it's more than likely BS